On today's Mark Meets, I'm joined by Amber. Amber's a client manager at the Scunthorpe office, having originally started as an apprentice. So, Amber, tell the listeners about yourself.
So, I'm originally from Accrington in Lancashire. I went to Peel Park Primary School, and that's where all me and my siblings have gone. Then I went on to Hollins Technology College, where I did my GCSEs.
How did they go?
They went really well. I got A's and B's, which was great. And then from there, I went on to college, where in my first year I studied maths, psychology, law and music, and then in my second year I dropped music to be able to focus on the other subjects.
Yep.
I really enjoyed law. That was my best subject. I got an A in that, which prompted me to consider doing it at degree level in university.
Okay, so which university did you go to?
So I went to Manchester Metropolitan University.
Yep.
And I studied law there for 3 years.
Okay.
But I had a gap year in between, which is when I moved to Scunthorpe to live with my partner.
Okay, great. Was there a particular element of the law degree that you liked the most and disliked the most?
It's been a few years since now. I think the one I enjoyed the most was probably... I quite enjoyed wills and probate. That was quite interesting. Different from what I had done already.
Yeah.
Least exciting... probably international law.
Right, okay. It sounds very dry, and that's coming from an accountant, so that says a lot. So you got to the end of the degree and you got a first, I believe.
I did get a first.
Which is brilliant. And you then took, I suppose, what could be deemed the unusual step not to pursue a career in law directly. Was there a reason behind that at that point in time?
I think I knew whilst I was studying that I wasn't set in doing law as a career. It was just something I enjoyed doing, so I thought I'd get a degree in it. And then once I'd finished, I knew that the process for becoming qualified was really lengthy.
Yeah.
And I'd already spent how long in education? I didn't want to spend another 10 years becoming qualified.
Yeah.
So then I was just I'd just finished, so I was just looking for jobs, and then I saw the Jackson Stapleton one. And I knew I wanted a professional career, something I can really get into, show off my skills and my knowledge and do really well at, and I thought I'd give it a try. Excellent,
which brings us on to the reason that you're on today, as lovely as it is to talk to you. We're now working more closely with the colleges and dealing with students at different ages, so GCSE, AS level or half A level, if that still exists, A level, and then even people that have started a degree or completed a degree, and sort of the common question is, when is the right point to do it? And I think you're living testimony to it's kind of never too late, not that you're that old, but normally someone may have started their apprenticeship in accountancy younger than you, it's maybe fair to say. But also, interestingly, of course, you've got the aptitude and intelligence and what you've taken from your degree. You come in with a degree more of life experience than maybe some of your peers that you've worked around and see and come into. So really, it's to highlight that the career it's never beyond you. I think sometimes people think, I'm 18, I've made a decision, I've taken a degree and I must follow that path. Actually, accountancy is equally as open to any age. So you decided you wanted a profession and decided accountancy was worth a go. So we're over 2 years in now. So how's that going for you? Honestly, because listeners want to know the ups and the downs. I appreciate it's not all positive. It's not all brilliant. It's not all perfect. And some of that's the profession, some of that's the setting. So share your experience as candidly as you can.
I really enjoy it. It's challenging, which is good, because I feel like it's important that you do something that still challenges you and makes you learn every day still. I've got a long way to go yet, but I'm excited about getting my qualifications and getting chartered. it's good because it's planned out for you. You know exactly what you need to do and you know how to get it. You get the help from the college, you get the help here, you get the experience here, and it all just combines and shapes you and you learn as you go, and it's great.
Yeah, so your initial routine, of course, as your employer should know what that is and have a good idea of what it was, but do you want to sort of compare and contrast your routine from, say, day one right up to today? So
very different.
Yeah, okay.
So when I first started, it was mainly sort of just doing analysis work.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'd never done it before. I didn't really have much idea what accounting was.
Yeah.
So I just sort of shadowed Harry, saw what he was doing, and then just mainly worked on spreadsheets, analysing accounts, wages, things like that.
Yeah.
And then just progressively learnt more, did more.
Yeah.
And then now I'm at a point where, you know, I can create a set of draft accounts on my own. Don't need that much help anymore.
Yeah.
I've got 2 junior accountants under me, which I help and review work for.
Yeah.
So it's very different from when I first started.
In all honesty, when you started to the point that you're in today, did you think it would be possible to have progressed as quickly to that stage? Or did you think that it was a job after two and a bit years plus that you can be in that sort of senior role, leading people? Did you expect that, or?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I feel like it happened at once as well. So it was like at one stage I still felt like an apprentice.
Yeah.
And then the next day it was like, wow, I can actually do so much. I've learnt so much. I know what I'm doing now. But I suppose it all depends on everyone's personal journey.
Yeah.
But if you put the hard work in and you enjoy what you're doing, then you'll get there.
Absolutely. And in terms of you've mentioned completing your study journey as well as after over the next few years, shall I say? Again, for the benefit of listeners, specifically with the interest of taking this career, this is, as much as I want you to stay forever, Amber. This is a qualification that can take you anywhere and a skill that goes anywhere in the world. I'm assuming that was an appeal to you as well when you were looking for a profession, that it's not even just area specific, not just national specific. This is an international skill.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's really beneficial because, I don't know, like when I was growing up, I always thought, oh, I want to live in Australia or I want to live in America. So having that point of entry of being qualified, I mean, it opens up to lots of different jobs all over the world. Yeah,
not just accountancy. Again, when I was speaking to the students at college recently, more so the year two students at John Leggett, this is a job that opens up management positions as well, because naturally things in the business sense boils down to finance, and if you've got a strong understanding of everything that you study within accountancy and having been in practice and seen a variety of businesses and what they should look like, you possess a skill that people will come to you and ask you for your opinion. So do you feel, I suppose, over your 2 years now that you would have a knowledge of a business and what it should look like? Not necessarily you could just produce it without any further information, but do you already feel that you sort of harvesting that knowledge?
Definitely. I think with what I do, it's definitely learn as you go type of thing. So every time I do a set of accounts, I'll learn something new. And, you know, when Harry reviews my work, gets back to me, he'll give me a list of points, and it's just a learning process. And then you pick things up along the way. Yeah. And then you can pinpoint things, and then compare it, contrast it to like other accounts you've done. So it's like building blocks, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think historically there's a perception of what it is to be an accountant, or the personality that is attracted to accountancy. I think it's fair to say that I've worked with enough people that certainly buck that trend. Not everybody is highly routine driven and just likes to be insular and sat in an office. You do meet different personalities in an accounts setting as well, I'd say.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay. I'll not ask you who your favourite is. The most interesting one. Right. So moving on, just to a bit more about you, just to break up your apprenticeship side of things. In terms of a hobby, do you have one, Amber, away from the office, apart from wanting to be the best accountant in the world?
I like a lot of different things, to be honest. Since the new year, I've gotten into fitness, which I haven't given up yet.
Yeah,
which is great.
Yeah, we're 4 months in nearly.
Not bad.
Okay.
I don't know. I just like being with my family, being with my partner. I go back home a lot, so I'll be going up at Easter, which will be nice. I like gaming. Yeah. I like a lot of things.
Oh, fabulous. So, in terms of your one possession that you would take if you was marooned on a desert island, do you have one thing apart from your partner and your family? We try and make it clear that they're not an option that you can take, just so there's no offence caused. Do you have one thing that sort of means the most to you or would give you the most comfort?
The most comfort? I have two things that come to mind.
Okay.
So it'd either be my cats.
Right, okay.
Or music.
Right, okay.
Either one of those.
All right, okay.
Both if I can have them.
I'll not push you just in case your cats listen to this. They might feel left out as well. Onto a more serious subject, which is something that we speak about with every guest, I suppose, that comes onto the podcast. It's mental health, and the reason that we keep sort of pushing this question is to, I suppose, open up any listener to a different approach or belief or thought process around the area. So, in terms of mental health, what does that mean to you, either personally or through your experience away from work or even in work? How do you think it's being dealt with? Where do you think things could be dealt with better? And do you still think we've got a way to go with it?
Mental health, I think, is a tricky one. It means something different to everyone, I think. Depends on your personal experiences. I know, like, personally, my family, we've had mental health issues.
Yeah.
In terms of the workplace, I've not experienced anything specifically. I've never needed any help, but someone in my family recently went through a bit of a difficult patch, and the help that they got from their employer wasn't quite what they needed.
Yeah.
It seemed that it was just something that they could check off that they'd done, rather than actually dealing with the issue. So I think there is a ways to go. I think there is still a stigma about it.
So perhaps maybe organisations have got more procedural about it, so they document it and are seen to do the right thing, but not actually going beyond that, the actual human side of it and understanding it.
I think that is missing because, well, the person who went through it basically just ended up stopping. It was like a therapy type thing, and they just ended up stopping because it just wasn't helping. They just didn't feel like they were getting the support that they needed. Yeah,
to sort of stop the one size fits all thing, which I understand to compare and contrast it. An organisation has to have a process, and you initially go into it with an intention of it being good, but everybody is different, and then therefore we can't just treat everybody saying thanks for answering that, because I know it's not always an easy question. It draws on personal experience, but if we can help anybody at all by highlighting it, then that's why we go through that question. So, picking up the pace a little bit about yourself again, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, in 5 years' time, I want to be chartered by that point. In terms of here, I'm not entirely sure of the plan. I'm happy to just go with it and see what happens, but in 5 years, in terms of qualifications, I definitely want to be chartered by then.
And would, in all honesty, would you want to see yourself, everything's capability, opportunity, but actively managing a client base and even shaping that office? Is that an aspiration that you have?
Definitely, and like working with Harry and see how much he's progressed with it, it's definitely aspirational and something I want to do as well.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I know you're only 25 and you was 25, was it last week or the week before? So many happy returns again. But if you could just go back 7 years in time and speak to your 18-year-old self, is there any advice that you'd give to yourself that you feel that you've picked up either personally or professionally that you think, I wish I knew that back then?
I think maybe just to care less about what people think.
Yeah.
It's your life at the end of the day. Nobody else really gets a say on that.
Yeah, so you mean follow your instinct more and not be shaped
Definitely,
as much by... Yeah.
And not shy away from doing things just because you think someone might say something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. What advice would you give to anybody else that's thinking about going into accountancy as a profession through an apprenticeship route? Anything in particular?
I'd say do it, to be honest. I think from what I've heard, a lot of people have said to do the apprenticeship rather than going through A-levels and university, which I would agree with because you get the actual experience of working in a practice if you do the apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then you can learn along the way. That will help you achieve the qualifications as well. You've got all the support you need and you get paid whilst you do it. So
yeah, which is a massive benefit of taking the route that not only are you being actively trained on the job and having the study paid for, you're actually earning money, which admittedly for the first year might not appear to be the most glamorous salary in the world, but there's a genuine progression, and particularly if you have the ability, it's difficult for your employer or it should be, for them to lean on and say, well, you're only 2 years in. It's about what you produce, not about how young you are or how long you've been at a place. That you should be measured on your performance, and that's something that I have to accept as an employer, because I took that same approach when I was around your point in your career. I was constantly championing my own cause. So my door's never closed if you feel that's required. Right, just to finish off really, we always go with a favourite quote or phrase or anything that you carry around in life, a little nugget that we might not have heard of before. Do you have anything in particular that you like to lean on?
I don't have a favourite quote, but I think just if you put the hard work in, you'll reap the benefits from it.
Yeah.
So just keep going with it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no better substitute than trying your best at a subject or a career or a relationship and give it your all. If it doesn't work, then at least you can lean back on the fact that you gave it your 100%. So I can't think of a more profound way to live your life than hard work. So
definitely.
I'm glad that's your phrase. So, okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for coming on at such short notice as well, Amber. I didn't really give you a lot of time to prepare today. So
it's all right.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you and learn a little bit more about you. So hopefully you're willing to feature on future podcasts.
We will see.
Excellent. Watch this space. That's a goodbye from me, Mark.
That's a goodbye from me.